Whoa, that's one unruly pony, and Anas wants to ride him here. Will he do it?
We've got about 2 weeks to find a pony. Our mission continues.
Plus, we meet the medieval queen who lives in suburban Swindon.
Certainly when I put on the outfit, my character changes. I go into character.
You look beautiful, my lady.
Thank you.
Welcome to tonight's Inside Out West. But first tonight, we rely on banks to keep our money safe. But business owners who borrowed from one bank with a base here in the West say it did the opposite and ruined their lives. For years, they've been demanding action, and now they've got a powerful new champion. Steve Brody reports.
We've come a long, long way together.
I can never forgive them for what they've done. Never. This went far, far beyond a bank loan.
It's a very different picture of Lloyds Bank than the one in their latest advert.
I've just lost a whole lot, as if my legs and heart was removed.
Former customers have been fighting the bank and its agents for years, claiming they forced them into financial ruin. They want Avon and Somerset Police to investigate, but it's refused.
It is worrying that there are people out there who say that they have compelling evidence and it's not been followed up.
And now another force has offered to help, but that's been turned down. Why? Lloyds, in the heart of Bristol, home to the bank's business support unit, also known as the Recoveries Department. It's where business customers who are struggling end up when they get into difficulty paying back their loans. The teams in here pride themselves on saving failing companies with their expertise. But some of their customers say that's the last thing they were interested in doing. Alan Richards was an award-winning farmer in Wales. So, all this land here was in your family?
Yes, the first house was my father's, my sister's, then my uncle's house, and then my grandfather's house, and then my house.
So what have you lost here?
All the buildings, all the land, machinery just taken away from me and sold for peanuts, just so they could make their fees.
Alan's trouble started when he missed a payment on a loan he had with Lloyds. He says he wasn't aware he'd even missed it after believing he'd been offered further lending by the bank. But his account was then transferred to the bank's Recoveries Department in Bristol, where he continued to make payments on his loan under the direction of a new team. Two men turned up. What did they tell you?
They were my new bank managers, especially Jonathan Miles. And Jonathan sent me letters, emails signed as a Lloyds Bank manager.
In fact, Jonathan Miles was on a secondment to the bank from Bristol-based property consultants Alder King, something Alan says was never explained to him. And later, Alder King would be appointed by the bank to administer the full sale of Alan's assets as his receiver. Alan thinks that was a massive undeclared conflict of interest. The business park was sold in 2011 for £472,000. That's 1/6 of its valuation 3 years earlier. And Alder King charged £69,000 for 3 years' work. Alan's MP has called in Parliament for a criminal investigation.
Surely now is the time for the Serious Fraud Office to take action, to shine a spotlight on the allegations of criminality, collusion and corruption.
The Serious Fraud Office says there wasn't enough evidence to justify an investigation, but will review it if new information comes to light. These are strong allegations which Alder King deny. Jonathan Miles declined to be interviewed, but his boss has asked us in. Jonathan Miles didn't declare that he was a partner at Alder King, and instead he gave the impression that he was a Lloyds bank manager. What do you say to that?
No, that's not
the case. From the initial meeting with Mr. Richards, which was on the second day of his secondment, it was made very, very clear by the senior manager at Lloyds, who was leading the meeting, that Jonathan was on secondment.
There's no evidence of that.
He was introduced at a meeting on that basis.
Well, we've only got his word for that. On his emails to these people, it's always Lloyd's work. There is not a mention anywhere of Alder King.
He was a full-time secondee, but it was bank policy if he was presented that way.
Surely that's a massive, massive conflict of interest. He was representing the bank. He was also representing Alder King, who were being paid. How do you explain that?
Mr. Richards made an application for an injunction to the court to stop us selling. He made a number of allegations, including the one of conflict of interest. The court dismissed the application. It stated the claim was totally without merit.
Lloyds Bank told us Alan's claims are baseless and have been reviewed by a number of third parties, including the Financial Ombudsman Service. They added it was standard practice to have secondees in the bank. They're not in decision-making roles and don't manage customer relations. They added it's in their interest to get the maximum price achievable for any assets of the business. Alan is not satisfied and has asked for help elsewhere. Did you take your allegations to Avon and Somerset Police?
Yes, I did, and I was interviewed, and the police officers came to see me in Cardiff.
And what did they do?
Nothing.
Avon and Somerset Police maintain there is no evidence of criminality in the way Alan was treated, so an investigation was not warranted. Another account that ended up in Lloyd's recoveries with a different case manager to Alan belonged to Carolyn Shires. In 2008, she had some land at Highfields Farm in Hampshire and planned to breed animals on it, with the help of a mortgage from Lloyd's. 3 years later, her life was thrown into disarray when her mum became ill with Alzheimer's.
She went from knowing me and being able to talk to me to not even knowing I was her daughter. So I had to totally care for her.
24 hours a day?
24 hours a day.
And this is obviously hugely distracting for you.
It was massively distracting.
She missed payments on the loan, and like Alan, her account was transferred to the Recoveries Department in Bristol. For 2 years, she fought to save her farm from being sold whilst caring for her mother.
The stress of Lloyd's, on the top of it, it was just, words can't describe the stress that caused me. I can never forgive them for what they've done, never.
Right.
I've tried to keep it together, I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. It's quite all right. Quite all right.
That's why I don't talk about it really, because this went far, far beyond a bank loan.
Highfields was valued in 2012 to be worth £500,000. It was sold 9 months later for $315,000. Lloyds told us Carolyn's business was poorly managed and it had provided support for her for many years, but it could not be saved.
We're walking now towards the modern dairy unit that was. That's now been converted into a beef unit by the new owner.
So all this was you?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Terry King was also a Lloyds business customer. He used to have a dairy farm at Harptree in Somerset. After he lost everything, he complained to Avon and Somerset Police. 20 years on, he says he's still fighting for answers because the force weren't interested. You were so upset by this that you complained to the then IPCC.
Yeah, I complained to the Independent Police Complaints Commission and they upheld my complaint against Avon and Somerset Police.
And what did they tell the police force?
They told the police to re-investigate.
And what happened?
Nothing.
Avon and Somerset Police say there is no evidence of criminal behaviour. But it's now come under pressure from the Police and Crime Commissioner of another force, Thames Valley. It made legal history last year when it prosecuted Halifax Bank of Scotland, which is now owned by Lloyds.
The bank denied a fraud had taken place for, I think, 11 years, in spite of the fact there had been internal emails within HBOS before Lloyd's admitting that they knew about a fraud of at least 265 million.
Lloyd's has said previously that it's determined to get to the bottom of what happened at HBOS, and it's appointed a judge to do that. Although the allegations are different and there's not been a police investigation into Lloyd's recoveries, he believes their expertise should now be used to review claims against the Bristol office.
Thames Valley have made 2 offers to Avon and Somerset. We're a much bigger police force. That has been turned down twice.
Lloyd's told us Mr Stansfeld's concerns have been thoroughly investigated by the bank, and it's not found any evidence to support them. But the former business secretary, Sir Vince Cable, is concerned.
The banks have behaved very, very badly, collectively, some worse than others, and it does their reputation no good. But it is worrying that there are people out there who say that they have compelling evidence, and it's not been followed up.
Avon and Somerset Police told us in a statement it had considered a number of allegations against Lloyd's recoveries, but had not found evidence of any criminal offences. This, they say, is supported by the National Crime Agency and the Serious Fraud Office. For many, like Carolyn and Alan, who've lost everything, they feel the law is simply not on their side.
I've just lost a whole lot, as if my legs and heart was removed.
I always thought that at some point somebody from Lloyd's would actually turn around and say there's been a huge mistake.
Have you got a story for us to investigate? Do get in touch. You can email me at seb@bbc.co.uk or find us on Facebook and Twitter. And don't forget, you can catch up with last week's show on the BBC iPlayer. Horse racing, a sport that's put Gloucestershire on the map. But how many Asian jockeys have you seen? Well, there's a Muslim kid from inner city Gloucester who wants to change all that. The question is, can he make it to the final furlong here at Cheltenham?
If I do well today, then that means I can qualify to race in Cheltenham.
Anas Ryman is a boy with a passion. At just 14, he's hoping to compete on the biggest stage, Cheltenham. But is racing, with its links to riches and royalty and all the gambling and drinking alongside, the right sport for a Muslim from the inner city?
The fact that I'm racing is maybe raising a few questions. It doesn't matter what culture you are, what race you are, it's open to anyone.
For now, the biggest challenge of all is finding a pony for him to ride.
It looks like the pony's kind of a bit mental.
Tried booking at least twice.
We've got about 2 weeks to find a pony. Our mission continues.
I'm from Treadworth in Gloucester. To be honest, don't really see horses around here. So I've never honestly paid attention to horses. And then as I saw my first horse, I think it would be around 4 years ago now, ever since then.
Tax session.
That first encounter was here at St James's City Farm. It's run by Imran
The
Acha.
rain's over.
Rain's over.
Yep.
Yep. You want to do that?
Yeah. Imran is my uncle, coincidentally, and without the help of him, I would definitely not be doing this whole thing.
With my right hand, I'm holding the whole lot in here, from here. And then I'm going to bring it up gently.
With his encouragement, it's just brought me into horses and given me the encouragement to try something out.
Okay. One horse ready for action. When I was little, my dad took me once to Western. That's the earliest I remember. And I sat on a donkey. And then afterwards, I just liked horses. I don't know how to explain it. I just loved horses. Always wanted to try them out and then never got the chance because I couldn't afford it.
Eventually, as an adult, Imran bought a pony with some friends.
All of us, we just ride as much as we could after work, all the time, through Ramadan, everything. Just riding every day, riding, making up for the lost childhood of riding.
He set up a riding school at the city farm to give local kids the chance he never had. But he sometimes struggles to convince fellow Muslims to get involved.
they'll think racing equals gambling. They just associate the two together. I explain to parents that we do racing for the sake of racing. We have no interest of any sort in gambling. It's forbidden for, in our religion, so it's of no relevance to us. We're just interested in children having lots of fun.
Imran's been given funding so his best pupils can have more training and compete in pony racing at Cheltenham. With 3 weeks to go, Anas might have found some boots to borrow, but he's struggling to find a pony. Today, he's been offered this fiery pony, Red.
I've heard Red's got a reputation, but I won't find out till I'm actually on there. So I'm actually looking forward because I've heard he's quite quick and I just want to get on and just basically race him.
But they have to get Red to the gallops first.
I said to Anas, make sure you do your prayer, because we have like a prayer before we get on the horse. It's in Arabic, okay? It's Subhanalladhi sakhara lana hadha wa ma kunna lahu muqrinin wa inna ila rabbina lamunqalibun. Thanks to God for giving us the horse and giving us control over it.
But as soon as Red gets onto the gallops, he bolts, and Anas can't stop him. Even the former jockey on hand to help struggles with Red. It's not looking good for Anas. Finally, success. A good run.
I love the sound of that third, you get the clip-clop, tick-clop when they're trotting around, and then you get the, you get the canter, and then you get the gallop, and it's super exciting, and I'm properly jealous that I couldn't do it when I was young. But they make me proud, and I'm glad to see them do it.
But one good run is not enough to prove he's safe on Red.
It looks like the pony's kind of a bit mental. Tell us the truth, Matt. Tell us what the pony was like.
Oh, the pony was terrible. Yeah, absolutely terrible. Reared me around 7 times. Tried bucking at least twice. Cheltenham was my aim, but don't think it is right now. After this.
We got about 2 weeks to find a pony. Yeah. Our mission continues.
Yeah.
Anas has doubts, but back at the city farm, Imran is determined.
Anas is going to be, God willing, the first boy from Treadworth, from our little humble inner city, to race in Cheltenham. And even though it's just a little pony race, for us it's a very big deal, and all his family is going to come, his friends are going to come, and hopefully he'll be an inspiration to a lot of other children.
Race days arrived, and he's done it. Anas has been lent a pony. Kids have come from across the country to compete.
Starter for the stewards.
But as soon as racing begins, Anas disappears. His dad explains.
We've got the special prayers every Friday for the Muslims, so we've just actually went down to the local mosque and done his Friday prayer.
Yeah, your weight's okay.
But the conflict between their faith and their fun is soon apparent when another of Imran's students has a flutter.
Just put a bet on her.
A bet? A real bet? Hey, that's what you shouldn't have done. We brought you here to learn about racing, not about the betting. Leave the betting to the people who've got money to waste.
In borrowed silks, on a borrowed pony, Anas means business.
Representing City Farm. Feel prepared, definitely. A little nervous, but that comes with everything you do.
It's just really good to see you come this far. Just do your best. We'll be behind you all the way.
Team Anas! Steady at the front, steady at the front.
They're off, they're off.
Go, off they go. Go on, lad.
He's towards the back. Doesn't matter, man. No, he's not last.
That's it, look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Come on, horses. Come on, Anas! Come on, Anas! Come on, Anas! Come on!
I didn't get the result I expected or wanted, but being at Cheltenham itself, no matter what position you come, is just the best experience you'll ever get.
Getting him a hug, man.
Hearing the roar of the fans is just amazing. Being able to feel that experience was just the time of my life.
Anas, brilliant effort. Looking forward to seeing you back in Cheltenham in those jockey silks very soon. If you could go back in time, where would you go? For me, it would have to be the 1930s. I love the hair and the dancing. But for her weekends, Gwen from Swindon goes back further, much further. Lovely Swindon, glorious suburbia on a sunny Sunday morning. Everyone's doing what you'd be doing. Everyone, that is, except for Gwen, because she's got the TV cameras round.
Bizarre morning is getting ready for you guys, clearing up the house. My normal life, I'm a nurse, I work in the community. I like to go to the gym at least 3 times a week. I'll go cycling with my husband and I'll do some sewing in the evenings or a bit of gardening. So yeah, life is very busy for me.
Well, we've not come here to put your normal life on telly, Gwen. Tell us about what you really love doing.
Of course it's bonkers. It's very bonkers. What isn't bonkers about dressing up in medieval clothing? Sorry, it's bonkers, isn't it? People at work think I'm bonkers. I just tell them I like going away for the weekend, living in a tent in the middle of a field with no modern amenities and just have a great laugh with a gang of friends. Dressing up in very funny clothes.
Thank you.
I'm a reenactor and I do this as a hobby as a weekends, just really for a bit of escapism. So we go back nearly 600 years and it's completely different because obviously today I have hair dryers, mobile phones. So we tend to have candles to keep everything alight in the evenings. We have to use an open fire to make cups of tea on. So yeah, very different.
Gwen's about to head off for a very important bit of reenacting, and we're going with her.
So the Battle of Tewkesbury we are reenacting is from the year 1471. I play the character of Margaret of Anjou and I'm fighting for the right of my son to be on the throne. Gareth plays the prince and he is my son. He's a blacksmith and a welder in his real life and he will be in full armour on the battlefield fighting against Edward. So I'm the figurehead for the Lancastrian army. I'm very much in charge.
I hope I do my mum proud. It's a big responsibility. I like to become Prince Edward very much as soon as I get to Tewkesbury. My attitude changes completely. I change from being how I am in civvy life. I now become Prince Edward, and then when it's all over, I switch back over again, become that normal person in civvy life again.
This hobby takes a lot of equipment, a lot of costumes to actually do it. I couldn't give you a figure on how much it all costs, no, because we do it for the fun of it and because we love doing it. We like bringing history to life. That's the whole reason for it. It's so the public actually get a feel of what history possibly was like. really funny sounds. I enjoy the attention. I don't mind admitting that. I absolutely love the attention.
That's Gwen well settled into medieval life with her army of Frenchmen. But what about Gareth, aka Prince Edward? How's his transformation going?
Quite warm, quite sweaty at the minute. Obviously, it's not taken 5 minutes to put this on. It is taking a while, like so far, 20 minutes into it. And now I'm already starting to sweat loads. It feels like I'm a war machine being put together. You feel almost invincible. You feel like you can take on the world. I'm covered head to toe in full plate armour, which overlaps, moves around. It should be like wearing a second skin, is the best way of putting it. Also protecting my hands as well. I've got gauntlets, which are the easiest way of describing them is like a steel boxing glove. So they protect my hands. Okay, so that's me now in 6 stone of armour. I'm going off to fight. I'll see you later. And then when I put that visor down, that's it. I'm off and I'm ready to go.
Something serious is brewing down by the battlefield.
Stand the king, by the grace of God.
It's the climax of the festival. This is a reenactment of the last major battle of the Wars of the Roses. There are 1,500 reenactors here, including 56 gunners, 278 archers, and 300 water carriers. That's a lot of men, all fighting each other. And it all starts when Gwen gives the king a right old slap around his chops. Don't go Googling who wins, just watch.
He's just punched us.
Oh, that was an exhausting weekend, but what a battle. Cheers.
Back to reality and work tomorrow.
Wow, talk about a lost weekend. Well, that's it from us tonight. Thank you for watching. We're back with you next week. So until then, good night. Coming up next week, an exclusive insight into our justice system as a judge speaks out.
A mother got on her hands and knees in court and begged me, please don't do this. Please don't take my children away. She said that she would end her life if I made the orders. And yeah, I came down to my room and I sat at my desk and I wailed.